Press. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our school board meeting, even on a snow day. It's unusual, as you can say. Audience comments, we have one card. Hopefully, everyone got the chance to do that. As always, audience comments are 5 minutes, and please don't direct any, call anybody out specifically by name or the staff. We'll go to 1.6, approval of agenda. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. We'll move to 2.0 for presentations of robotics. You want me to repeat what you just said?
All right, the robotics was planning on presenting this evening, but a couple of people weren't available, this and that and the other, so we're gonna have it in May, but they were ready to roll, and but we'll still do that in May.
Okay.
Kind of a unique, like you said, situation with the snow day and stuff.
Okay, we'll move on to audience comments. 2.0. We just have one audience. Jody?
Hi, everyone. Again, I just really want to quickly speak to the applications we put in for the screening committee. And I just wanted to, I don't know, explain what I did, which was to keep scrupulously to the 25 words we are allowed, but I stapled a paper on the back, basically to give you guys the evidence for a poll that I did on the Banks for All Facebook page, asking people if they wanted for me to represent them on the screening committee, because I feel like it's not likely that y'all would choose me, because I have been, you know, I don't know, in conflict with a lot of you, or at least, you know, coming with my position, which seems to be a lot different. So anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood where I was coming from on that, because in fact, I had someone who responded on that Facebook post and was like, this is kind of weird. Like, if you want to be on the committee, why don't you just turn in your application? And I said, well, the point is that it's not that I just want to sit on the committee. I really genuinely believe and know that I represent a position that is not well represented here, and that there are a lot of community members who, you know, who feel that I'm speaking for them. So I wanted to provide that to you guys as part of that application. It's really not that I want to sit on the screening committee just for myself, but I really feel like I speak for that segment that's not otherwise represented. So I wanted to make sure that that was sort of in the record. And I didn't know if that second page got, you know, is, you know, part of what you all are seeing, but just that there was, you know, some 60+ people who said, yes, I would choose you for my representative on that committee. So that's all I want to say. Thanks, guys.
Move on to 4.0 for the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda 4.1 and 4.2? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously. Jeff, for discussion items, I'll see anything listed here. No changes. No. Then we'll go on to 6.0 for the selection of the superintendent screening committee. Let me just real quick make a comment about, we received almost 40 applicants for the screening committee. The board did go through those applicants, each one of them, looking at the categories which we had previously identified on the application. And we did look through that. It was a tough decision, a lot of very qualified individuals. And I know there'll be some disappointment on those people that submitted that didn't make the committee. I just want to say thank you to everyone. We did have good representation from everybody here. So with that, I will open up. Do I have a motion So, let me stop and say, I would like to, for the board members, I would like to break out the committee for those who have are currently working with the district, basically hired by the district. So that would cover teachers, administrators. And then the second group would be parents and teachers, or parents and community members. So with that, do I have?
Are you gonna tell us what the names are?
Yeah, I mean, I can read through the names. Yep.
I didn't see it in here. Is it?
It
Oh,
is.
it is. I
Yep,
missed
all
it.
the applicants
I was
are,
looking for a final rundown.
but I can go through that. if-
I think it'd be good, yeah.
Yep. So Cole Linehan submitted an application. Christina Pasadora application.
No, I see all the applications.
Oh.
From one selected.
I'm sorry. That is going to be, I believe we'll have a nomination for that. So I think Dan will.
Oh, okay.
talk about
Give a list.
So, yeah, so if I could have a motion for nominating those individuals who currently are working for the district, covering teachers, union members, and administrators.
So I just want to say before I do that, that we had a number of different people. We were trying to get teachers or staff from each one of the schools, and or, elementary school, middle school, high school, to make sure we had good representation. We were trying to get people who are involved in CTE and SPED and early learning, just to make sure that we had kind of those bases covered. And then also administrators. So with that said, we had one applicant from the middle school, Tony Richardson. So by default, he's on it, or I'm nominating him. And then we had three, we're choosing three high school teachers, Cole Linehan, Katrina Pasador, and Amber Wickstrom. Katrina kind of comes with the CTE aspect, and Amber with the SPED. Cole, is a longtime member of the community. He's in the high school, obviously a coach and parent and stuff. So we feel that represents the high school. For the elementary school, we chose Joe Schilling because she's at the elementary school, but she also represents, she's the union representative, so that we have that covered as well. Terry Brown, who's in early learning, which would be good. Trish Vandecouvering is another one that we chose based on being high school classified, but she's also the union representative as well. And then our two administrators are Marjorie Salter and Joan Spencer. They're the only two that applied, so that made it kind of easy. And then we have Shelley Licky, who's in ES or elementary school classified and parent. So I'll just go through the nomination then. So it's, I nominate Cole Linehan, Katrina Pasador, Amber Wickstrom, Tony Richardson, Joe Schilling, Terry Brown, Trish Vandecouvering, Marjorie Salter, Johnny Spencer, and Shelley Licky for the superintendent search committee.
And is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And so then can I have a nomination that would cover parents and community members?
Right, so this obviously is always going to be more contentious. What we really wanted to do is make sure that we had good representation from the different groups in our community. We did have one local government apply, so the mayor, Stephanie Jones, we felt that she would at least represent the city in that aspect, so that was good. And then the other ones we chose based on kind of what they do in the school district. Some are coaches, many of them are parents or had students that had gone through. So I nominate Dan Erb, Melissa Merritt, Kristen Accardi, Dan Williams, Jared Benson, and Lori Tierney
Was Dan Williams on it?
Yeah.
I said,
You said
you know,
that.
Sorry, I missed that. Okay. Great. A second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor? Unanimously. Okay, so for those people that are on that committee, Milt, I will provide those names to our consultant. We'll be in contact, and then there was a introduction as far as what the roles and responsibilities of that committee is. So that will be forthcoming as soon as I provide that list to our consultant. And with that, we'll go down to 7.1 for board communication. Jeff?
So I just wanted to point out and announce to the crowd that we have found our business manager for next year. I've emailed all of you, Dustin Geddes from Forest Grove. He is, well, basically he's number 2 behind the business manager right now. He audited us for probably 4 or 5 years when he was at Polly Rogers, so he's very familiar with us. And I would say he's an up and comer for, he described the job as it's his dream job. So he's looked at Joni and Marlo from afar because when he was here, he was so impressed with when he'd go through the audit and stuff. So he's very, very excited. Yeah, it was, we were, when we saw that he had applied, we were very optimistic, and after we interviewed him, everything was perfect. So that took a lot of, I don't know, I know all of you were worried about that as well, trying to find a very highly qualified business manager. And so once we found that, I think Joni, Marlo, and I took a big deep breath, and I think the board can take a deep breath as well. Very knowledgeable. He'll be great. So just to announce to the crowd and to you as well, and on the Zoom. And then the other thing I just want to mention, I did include it in your packet, but the summer OSBA conference is July 8th through the 10th. So if you are interested in attending, and that's in Bend, please check with Marlo and see if other board members want to go as well. And I've been a few times, and it's worthwhile. I mean, I like the summer one. The summer one, well, it doesn't seem as crowded. The fall one, it's just like crazy to get downtown and get to the Marriott, and it just seems so quick and fast and all of that. Where the summer conference is more opportunity to network and just to go to different things like that. So whoever you select as superintendent, I remember I attended that first year. My first thing that I did was attend the conference with, I think, Nori and Lori went, and so it's a good opportunity to kind of get to know each other a little bit. So that is it for my report. I just wanted to mention those 2 things, and yeah, so I'm very excited. We continue to interview for Marlo's position, and we've got quite a few applicants. We've gone on Indeed and OSBA and COSA and everything else in between, and so we've gotten quite a few, and we're just trying to find that right fit, that all of the duties that Marlo has.
Do you get to hire 3 people?
Yeah, hire 3 different people. You need a little bit HR and business background and accounting and payroll and all of that, and then also secretary.
Thank you, Evan.
Need a cheat sheet when you leave, please.
Yeah. So that's it.
Thank you, Jeff. Go to board comments. Will, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate getting that done. Obviously, thank you very much. That's great. Both, and I'm sure Marlo had a hand in them as well. I will say it again before they leave, but it is going to be tough to have you guys gone. Sorry to see you going. Also had a lot of talk, continuously seems like I have a talk, anytime I work with somebody with children, schools come up and teachers come up and school districts come up, and I'm just reminded that what a, you know, we've all struggled through COVID, but nobody has struggled more or been challenged more and had to work harder to get through it than our teachers, our administrators, everybody associated with the school. It's been too much for some, understandably. I mean, there are challenges in school districts all over the place, just because it's been so difficult, and I totally understand it. And I just want to say again, which I hopefully we've said it all the way through, how much I appreciate everybody in the school district, all the hard work and all the things you're doing, both to react, but also to get our kids educated in the midst of it. It's a big challenge. It's not perfect. I'm very pleased with the job, with the results. Just want to thank you again. You know, I think we have a real job ahead of us to rebuild morale, rebuild depth of talent, rebuild everything we had, and then of course take it where we go. So I just want to take the opportunity to mention that one more time.
Thank you. Krista?
Yeah, thank you. I echo your sentiments. First, I just wanted to celebrate a win. I think we have people virtually joining us, hopefully our other administrators, right, and our fellow teachers. And I just wanted to say thank you for getting us to this part. Their superintendents, I mean, this is the time in spring where all of you that are in education know you start to see the growth and the progress and the learning from your students. And it's that magical time that was kind of ripped away from everyone back in 2020. And here we are back, and you guys get to see it. And so I just want to thank you all for all your incredible, amazing hard work. It does not go unnoticed. And so I'm very, very grateful. I was actually really had a wonderful opportunity of attending the National School Board Association conference 2 weekends ago, virtually, which means I get to attend like every session that I want to, and I kind of geek out on this stuff. So I've been watching more and more and more. But one thing I wanted to say is that it talks about healthy functioning school boards and functioning community involvement. And we have such an incredible community. We have such dedicated people who are volunteering in our schools, volunteering as our coaches. And I just kind of looking at our community and our schools in the lens of this national context, it just made me feel really proud. Right. And a lot of things about these great qualities of superintendent and stuff. I just want to say, like, I was like, yes, check, check, check. This is great. Right. So thank you for leading us through these crazy years, for getting us to where we are. And I agree with this, like, kind of building for our future and what kind of vision do we want to have moving forward? Because I think we have so many important things to do, you know, looking at learning loss from COVID, which I know we're going to overcome with our students, you know, dealing with our students with special needs who are always more challenged than anyone else in a situation like this, addressing our mental health needs, hiring really qualified staff, right? And just making sure that we elevate the achievement of all of our students. So we have our job cut out for us, but I know that we're on the right course. And so, like you said, rebuilding, moving forward with new individuals, I'm just really inspired. I feel honored to be able to work with this team and our community. So thanks to everyone for getting us here, even though it feels like winter. We are in spring stretch, so.
It's supposed to snow every night.
No, but my
It
plants
is?
are all in the house.
Yeah.
It's gonna freeze.
Absolutely, really.
Yeah, bring your plants in.
Wednesday's luckily there's already a late start. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to echo what Will and Carissa said. You know, it's been a really challenging 2 years to kind of, to say the least, to get through all this. And I don't think we could have done it without the administration staff. The teachers have done a fantastic job. Jacob, in your update and Ben's update, you talked about how well our students performed this winter and in their winter activities and stuff. And I was really kind of inspired with how well they've done. But one of the things that still kind of bugs me is the fact that, you know, the kids are still struggling scholastically. And I think, you know, if you have any comments about that and kind of how it's going, where you think we're at and kind of where you think we could get to by the end of the school year. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, looking back, I think, and I don't want to speak for the middle school or the elementary, but I've worked at the middle school, I've worked at the high school, and teenagers are fairly unique creatures. You you know, I think they can kind of figure it out. Oh, it's just a progress report. Oh, I got this. And so I think sometimes we're more stressed of where they're at than they are. They do have a plan, like, I won't say they're implementing the rope-a-dope technique, but they're kind of like, yeah, I got it, just kind of rolling with it. And you'll see when we look back over the years, when we look at a progress report, there's always more students failing. They crank it up, they turn things in, they do things to get where they want to be by the end. And, you know, anytime we look at their snapshot in time of where they're at, but it is, as we look at where students are at grade wise, you know, you mentioned learning loss and things like that, that's definitely there. We saw a lot more at the beginning of the year where it was things like deadlines that they hadn't had for a year and a half, where it was more like just turn it in when you can get it. There's technology issues, you don't have internet, there are devices at home, all these things. But I think we'll definitely get there. It's getting better and better each week that goes by. And students are definitely, we just had a winter forum, we have these activities. Students are so much more happy this year than we've seen them in a long time. And so I think academics will get there. And I think it's continuing. You might feel like you've said it until you're blue in the face 100 times, 1,000 times of just the importance of these day-to-day things. But they're teenagers. I got it, you know, same sort of thing, but we'll get there. But it is, we still have some work to do for sure.
And I would just like to say, you know, under the times we are, I'm still impressed with the way the kids are doing in school, even though we've got, like you say, the teenagers. But you know, what I've been impressed with is how our staff delves in there and they know who is not doing well and they try to get in and help them see the way. But you know what, even with me, my schedule is not like what it was 2 years ago. And so I'm starting to get back so I can understand them, but it's probably way harder for them. But anyway, I appreciate our staff. And everyone just trying to make a great education for our kids, and we do. We really, really do. Every day, I mean, I can meet kids that I thought, oh, wow, I wasn't sure he was going to make it. Here he is, working in a great place, no college, but he didn't need it for this because he's hands-on and he's doing great. He has a family, they just moved up by us, and it's just wonderful to see that. And I see it all the time with kids that have come from Banks. Not only that, they want to come back. They want to come back to this place, this wonderful community that we have. And we're unique out here. I'm telling you that we do pretty well for our kids and our community. But I am really impressed with the robotics team too. I think that's just great. The winter formal, I saw how kids were so excited in going in all their pretty dresses, and so that's really kind of nice to get back into the normalcy of it all. And this career fair that's coming up, I think it's going to be great. I've talked to a few people in our community that have little businesses that they're going to come to the fair to show the kids that what's available for them too, just right in their own backyard. And I'm excited about, talk to Jacob about how there's a lot of applicants for our job openings, and that's thrilling to me. They've heard about us. They know that we're a good place to be.
Thank you, Leslie. I want to circle back on being your comment on unique. And one of the things, I know everyone doesn't get to see what's in our board packets. Mr. Buchanan provided this information talking about the high school students and what they've done. And some of this is athletics, but it goes beyond that. Boys baseball team, second in the state. We had 50 to 60 kids that showed up for track. Softball is kind of regrouping after so many years of success. And then the winner, dancing drill fourth, basketball team third. The girls basketball team took first in our league, and the wrestling team took eighth in state. We have, for the first time in 15 years, a musical being performed. That's
That's
amazing.
exciting.
And I guess circle back on the robotics team, it'll be great to see those individuals that they took 5th place in state. And we were the highest high school affiliated school. And that just means our competition was, going against clubs. And that to me just speaks volumes of the volunteer who was leading that effort, the kids who are doing everything, just amazing. And lastly, I see Billy Harris got his FFA degree, and I know FFA has been here for a long, long time, and that's great. And new club, so it's just very encouraging to see all the participation. And I think that's one of the great things about our school district is that kids participate in a whole variety of activities. So,
Can I just add something to your robotics comment?
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize this, but I think still Banks is the only school-sponsored robotics club competing. Isn't that still true?
There's a few from some of the bigger high schools.
Okay, that's more recent. That in the past, it's always been affinity clubs, fanatics, and their parents, people who are just gonna get behind it 1,000%. I think it's very unique that a community pulls together, a different group of blended, a cross-section of students and turns it into the success they've had and with all of the, both school and volunteer support. So it's a different level.
that was it for me. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll adjourn the meeting.